Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. Welcome to part 6 of my 7-part series on working with card kits. In this video, I'm going to share projects I create using the Botanical Prints Product Medley by Stampin Up. It's part of our spring mini catalog. I'm going to open it up and unbox it. I'm going to go off and see how many projects I can create using this medley. And then I'm going to come back and share all those projects with you, including how to create projects using the supplies in the kit. And I'm also going to share how to create a 3D project, at least one. Now I just want to give you, before I open this box, I just want to give you a little peek at what I've done in the series so far. So if you want to go back and look at that, you can. So in the last video, I shared projects using the Seriously the Best Project Kit. And throughout this series, I think it was in the first video on the Notes of Kindness card kit, I showed how to create these little boxes. And then I created the same little boxes throughout the whole series. So for example, these boxes were made from the Lots of Happy card kit, the card kit that I watercolored and used blends with. These boxes were made from the Seriously the Best card kit. These boxes are made out of cards in either case. Okay, so another example of how I would do something like that is I created Hershey Nugget treats using, this is from the Looking Up card kit, this here. And then I created Hershey Nugget treats from the Seriously the Best project kit. See, look how different they look. So you're going to see, if you go back and watch my series, that I created a lot of the same things, like tag treats. I created them every time. I just created them with different supplies. Nuggets every time, cards every time. Okay, this is a card I created for the Love of Felt card kit. So you can take a theme and supplies, and you can create all kinds of things with it, and just use those things that you learn over and over again. I created matchbook Ghirardelli chocolate holders that hold tea. I'll be doing those again for this card kit. So if you have some patterns and you write up down your measurements and your things, you can use the same patterns over and over again. All right, so the Botanical Prints Product Medley is a little different than the card kits I've been showing you in that it comes with, this is the only one of all the kits that I'm showing you that comes with actual metal dies. And the metal dies are used in a Big Shot or in any kind of die cutting machine you may have. We're coming up with a new one in the next annual catalog, Stampin' Up is, and a little mini die cutting machine as well. But for now, I'm going to use my electronic one. I have a Big Shot that's a manual one, but I'm also going to be using my electronic one. It's called a Vagabond. I'm not sure if there's a D in there. Anyway, so let's show you these dies, the Botanical Prints dies, and I'll show you those because they go with the stamp set. And this is one kit I haven't played with yet. This is the first time I'm opening mine. I have seen some projects made with it. One of my team members made a lot of projects with it, but this is the first time I'm playing with it. Okay, so here are the dies, and let's see how they coordinate with the stamps. Okay, so we're going to open the stamps. Yes, they coordinate very well. Okay, so we're going to look at what kind of stamp. This is a cling stamp set, meaning that it's rubber. So I may as well show you how to mount one of these while I'm here because it'll already be mounted by the time. Let's mount this one here. So to mount the stamp, you take, for a cling stamp that is, that's how you mount, this is how you mount a cling stamp. I'm going to take the little sticker off the back. Okay, and this one I'm going to throw away. And I'm going to take this sticker off. Now, if you fold it, it comes off like, oh, wrong side. See? I know I was on the wrong side because it folds in half like that. Then I knew I was on the wrong side. See? I'm going to throw those away, just this part. I don't throw this actual sheet away because this cling material I can use for other things. I can rework some of my old stamps with that cling material. Okay, so what you do is you fold that, you peel that off, and then you're going to put this on there like that. So I'll be doing this to all my stamps. Okay. Now, so far in this series, I've worked for 30 hours and 50 minutes, 50, and I've created over 149. I've created 149 projects. Plus, after the video's over, sometimes I go off and create a few extra projects, but using up the embellishments, I've already created 149 projects. I can't wait to see what I stamp with this. I may use the dies, I may use my scan and cut, but I'll probably just use the dies because that's what my crafty friends are going to get if you buy this set. Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm definitely use the dies. Way less effort because look at how beautiful they fit. It fits in there. All right, so I'm excited about this. But I may use my scan and cut on the pattern paper. I haven't really looked at the pattern paper very well yet. Then what I do is, this is just a personal preference. Some people put them back inside the rubber like that, but I don't. I just stick them like that into the case. They stick right onto the case, and then when I close the case, that's how I see them. You know, I just know that they're there. All right, I can't wait to get stamping with that. All right, coordinating colors. I wrote that down. I had to go to the website earlier because I don't remember that. It's crushed curry. And I'm going to open up the paper. It's crushed curry, old olive. Okay, that's all there is in there. It's just a bag. Okay, this one is unlike the other kits. This doesn't come with instructions, I don't think. No, it doesn't. It's not like a regular card kit. It doesn't come with instructions. So I'll go through the paper first, and then I'll go through the embellishments. All right, so I already said crushed curry, old olive, pretty peacock. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. Terracotta tile, basic black, whisper white, and copper foil. So those are the coordinating colors. So you get 48 sheets of paper. I know. Let's see how many of each one. Yeah, you get 48 sheets, so it looks like 8 of one style. They're all double-sided, so this will be fun for coloring. And then you have this side. So I can definitely see, let's see, if the die fits on this. Let's check on that. I'm not sure. No. Maybe this one. No, so I'll be using my machine, but it does, let's see if the stamp, very similar to the stamp. Very similar. Very cool. All right. So double-sided designer series paper. Now, I'll probably use up all this, knowing me. I love trying to use up all of the materials. But what I do in my card kit series, so that was double-sided, is I like to use up all the embellishments, and that's when I stop. I like to go off and see how long it takes me. I time myself and see how long it takes me to create these projects. And then I stop when I get to the use up all the embellishments. I like how this paper has one side that I'm just looking to see if the die fits that one. One side has, you know, like a colorful pattern. So this would be terracotta tile and basic black, and the other side, you know me, I'm trying to put like a square. You guys are probably sitting there going, square peg, round hole. No, that does fit. So that's perfect. See, that does fit. So I was glad I checked that because the die fits onto the designer series paper. See that? Way to go, Stampin' Up. I like when things coordinate like that. Okay, so that's one side and that's the other. And I like how there's a colorful side and a black and white side. And then we have the, oh, I like this. This reminds me of the honeybee or the golden honey specialty designer series paper that I have a lot of because of the stripes. And this would go with the Lots of Happy card kit. I hope you're thinking that too. I hope you're thinking, your wheels are spinning, like how these card kits can be coordinated with some of these papers. And then there's got these lemons. How fun are those lemons? Okay, so the 8 sheets of those. I'm already thinking I can fold those up and make what's called like little diaper fold tea holders. Because when I have perfect paper like this, 6 by 6, it's really good for making projects that you have to fold the paper because it's already cut so evenly. Let's see the other side of this one. This would be the pretty peacock. Definitely, I'm thinking I need to use my scan and cut too for the ones that don't have coordinating dies to cut out some of these pattern paper. And then I have like loads of extra embellishments to use. All right, so we have 8 sheets of those. Moving along, we have 8 sheets of this. Oh, fun. Where are my dies? I've already buried my dies. Maybe my dies. I'll be coming back and telling you which dies fit on which designer series paper. It's kind of fun seeing things. Nope, not that one. Seeing things for the first time. I have seen projects made with this, but I just didn't know the paper looked like this. And, you know, kind of interesting. I thought the paper was more colorful. I mean, it can be colorful. That's probably why, is people colored it, is why it looks colorful. Okay, and then that's that sheet. And then here we have this sheet. And that's the terracotta tile. And that looks like little peaches, maybe? Yeah, fun with some leaves and flowers. Okay, so this is cool stuff here. Let's see what else. So now we have, so that was all the paper, 48 sheets, double-sided. I know I've repeated myself. Sorry for repeating myself. I'm kind of excited. Excited to see the embellishments. All right, you get these little bees. Oh, they're copper. They're copper bees. See how many you get of those. 12 little bees. So you can just glue those right onto your projects. These little bees. That's nice little embellishment. Okay, you get, I'll definitely be going till I run out of all these little punch outs. I'm definitely going to use up all these punch outs. These are great for cards, and I like how you can just put a pop of color onto your cards with these. So you get die cuts. So these are a couple sheets of die cuts like that, and then you get these laser cut. These are awesome. These are, let's put these on a white background. Oh, and you still have, I still have these to show you. Let's see what else I buried. Last time, in my last video, I did bury a lot of embellishments. I didn't show you everything. But this time I'm going to make sure I do. Okay, so let's put these on a white background. So we have pretty peacock laser cut card and backgrounds, and I think, or laser cut dies. Now I'm thinking that these wouldn't be great to cut apart, but also they'd be great to run through my sticker machine. Okay, so let's see what kind of pattern. We have that pattern, and then we have these. These are really hard to cut out with the machine, but I like that they're already cut out for me, and I can run them through and just kind of stick these as a card background. These are beautiful. All right, let's see. We have these. We have 1, 2. Okay. So these are to put your little sentiments on. And what I like to do after I punch them out, I like to stamp them while they're connected, but if there's any little nibs sticking out, sometimes when you punch out things and they're perforated, I just use my paper snips and I get rid of those. You can also use a little nail file and sand those down. These are great. So definitely be using those. And then lastly we have, I think I'm going to use some of my own ribbon too, not just the ribbon that came with it. Okay, we have old olive ribbon. I have some terracotta ribbon that's very similar to that, so I might use some of my own ribbon. Of course I'm going to use my own cardstock because this doesn't come with cardstock, unlike my other ones. All right, so in this kit you get 12 bees, a stamp set, die cuts, 4 sheets of die cut punch outs, 48 sheets of designer series paper. I'm going to come back and show you the projects I create with these supplies, and so stay tuned, and I hope you check out the other videos in this series if you haven't seen them already. But I'll be back in a little while to show you what I've created with this Botanical Prints Product Medley. Thanks. Crafty friends, I'm back. It has taken me 8 hours and 45 minutes, and I created 28 projects. So including the 2 projects I'm going to show you how to create, we're going to create 2 of these, then that will be 30 projects total. So just so you know, 8 hours and 45 minutes does not include punching out some little butterflies that my husband punched out for me prior to this video. That's these copper butterflies, and he punched out hundreds of those. And that does not include some of the time I used to design on my scan and cut. Although you do not need a scan and cut for any of these projects, I like to make my card bases very precise. And I'll show you which parts I use my machine for. But really, you don't need it for any of the projects I'm going to show you. I made sure of that. I just like to use it to be more precise. All right, so let's get started. What I want to show you, my first project I created with the Botanical Prints Product Medley. These are just called tea holders. And so these are little pouches, and I'm going to create these with you. They're little diaper fold pouches, and I have a little honey stick in there. I'll link to my materials. I mean, not just the Botanical Prints Product Medley, which is on sale right now for only $42 because it's on clearance, it's retiring. I will also link to things like at other stores that are not Stampin' Up, like these honey sticks. So I put a little bee on the end of each honey stick, and I saved 1 bee. And I just wanted to also mention that if you don't want to put tea in there, you can. These are perfect for Ghirardelli chocolates, and they're perfect for York peppermint patties. So you don't have to put tea inside of these little holders. They hold money, gift cards, I mean, you name it. And as long as you start out with a square piece of paper, you can create any size of these little diaper fold pouches that you want. You just need to start out with a square piece of paper. So let's put these off to the side, and we will make these first. That's our first project. I'm not actually going to make a card with you because I literally ran out of, except I have a dozen. I do have a dozen sheets of designer series paper, but I ran out of all the embellishments except for the ones I'm using for this part. So what you need to do is you need to take, we're going to create 2 of these. Use your pattern paper, any pattern paper you have in your stash. Doesn't have to be what I'm using. You're going to take the small patterns. It looks better with small patterns. See how these little, these little patterns show up here. We're going to use the colored side on the outside. So that's the side we're going to flip over and we're going to fold. So I'm going to use this one and this one. Or actually we already used, just the smallest patterns you can find, as opposed to something like that. That's too big of a pattern. So you want the small patterns. I'm going to flip it over, and on the black and white side is what I'm going to make my triangle for. So I'm going to just make a triangle. Just go like this. And this is, we're doing a diaper fold pouch. Okay. And then you're just going to sort of crease down there. And what I like to do is I like to get a spatula. You can use any spatula you have or bone folder. And I like to make the creases really well. So I'll just use this little sort of putty spatula I use sometimes for that. And see, you're going to make a perfect triangle. So then you're going to do that. And now you're going to point the triangle. So you're going to point the pointy top, the top part of the triangle up. And now you're going to make a diaper fold. So you're going to go like this. You're going to fold this over. And you're going to fold this side over. And don't worry, I'm going to show you this twice. It's going to be a review. I always like to show things at different angles. Now, before you do the pinch, you want to make sure that this is sort of flush. Okay, so these should be flush. This one and this one should be flush. So what I like to do is I like to sort of fold my top part down before I give it a pinch. Just to make sure. If my top part forms a good little triangle there, then it's all even. If not, it's kind of wonky, and that's okay too. But I like it to have like this little triangle covers this little flap. And then I sort of pinch down on the sides. And after I pinch down on the sides, then I can use my little spatula again to sort of crease that out. Or to get the creases straight. Okay, these pretty much hold together pretty well. You would just a little bit of like a glue dot or something. But I like to use some extra adhesive under there. So what I like to do is take any kind of rolling adhesive, like whether it be snail. This stuff's called tear and tape, because you tear it and you tape it, and it's just awesome, double-sided. I like it because it's portable, and I could sit in my living room, tear off little pieces, or even on the go, which we soon can go places. We're going places. Well, it depends on where you live, but where I live, stores are perking back up. I'm just putting a little bit of tape, and then you're going to put a little piece of tape there. And then you just hold that down, okay? And then you do your cute little decorations. You put your Ghirardelli in there, and I'm going to put a tea bag. So I'm using this chamomile tea, just this chamomile. What I like about Bigelow brand is that they come. We're going to put a honey stick in there. They come with these individually wrapped pouches. And in the new catalog, when I give out a survival kit, one of the things I give in my survival kit is tea. To calm you down while you're flipping through the catalog. How exciting. This is not in the new catalog, by the way. This is retiring. This whole suite, meaning it's not going to be around. So to put the honey stick, so what you do for these little bees that came in this medley, there were a dozen of these little copper beads. I put glue dots behind them. I've already done that ahead of time just to save time. See how, let me go up to the camera with the glue dot. See how I put some glue dots on there? They're just sort of translucent. I just put a couple little glue dots on there, that's all. I mean, you can use glue, but I wouldn't use glue because it's food. When you have honey, I would use a glue dot because it's removable. I'm not using removable glue dots, but I'm saying you can get that off the honey stick. And then you put that in there, and that's it. And then I have this. I'm always here for you. I've already made that ahead of time. This little sentiment, okay? So for that, just put a little bit of, dimensional adhesive behind it and pop that on. Simple. I'm just peeling off the back. You get that part. And I have these little leaves, I'm always here for you, and this embellishment came with the kit. This came in the kit, this one. I'm always here for you. This little leaf here is just one of the dies. Okay, so I'm going to show you where I did use a leaf punch sometimes in this series, but this little leaf here, I did a lot of leaves from the dies. I used the dies a lot in this section where I created the crafts. Okay, so that's one little project, and let's make one more for good measure, and we're going to take another piece of paper, and we're going to fold it. Okay, let me make sure. I'm just going to zoom in. I like to give you different angles, but instead of changing my camera angle, because I spent a long time getting the right angle without too much glare, I'm just going to zoom in so you get the better angle. And then I just sort of see how before I crease it, I make sure I have a good, nice, tight triangle before I press the creases. Okay? So if you're doing this while you're watching TV, which I do a lot, then you can be folding these. And you have something like a little board, a little workspace. I use my scoreboard a lot. My scoring, it's called Simply Scored because it's a nice surface for me to sort of fold on and And then I fold that down to make sure I got it. And then I sort of pinch the edges. And then after I pinch the edges, I know I have a good even line there. And then I go like that. Now you gotta be careful when you have foil paper, because I made a lot of these using a foil type of paper. It was called like wrapped in plaid designer series paper. And I didn't realize when I was doing my same technique with my spatula that I was rubbing off the foil. So you gotta be careful if you have like really paper, designer series paper that's specialty where there's foil inside it. Don't be careful with your spatula. Use your finger instead, because if you use your spatula, and then notice how I just did that. I sealed this part first, and then I seal that part. That's just me. There's probably no right or wrong way to do it, but that's just me. I don't want you to miss any steps. Okay, so if you have foil paper, be careful not to rub the foil off, because I did. And I also rubbed the foil off of the Specialty Golden Honey Designer Series paper when I was doing this sort of same technique. All right, so that's that pouch. Now this is the inside of my, I think either this is the inside of my stamp apparatus or the inside of my, this little sponge here is the inside of the part where I create, or I have like my stamping blocks. These are stamping blocks. And I use the same stamping block for everything because everything fit on here. But we're just going to put friend on this one. We're going to put the word friend. Okay, I'm just putting that right at the top there. So we're going to stamp, we're going to use the last sentiment. I have the last sentiment there. And I'm going to just use Memento black ink. And I'm going to ink that up. And I like to stamp onto a sponge, you know, if possible. And sometimes, since it is my last ink, I should probably just check on a sticky note that my ink is going good. Yeah. Okay, good. Good, good. It is. Because I don't want to waste my last sentiment. But if I do, so be it. It's only paper. And you'll see I ran out of these a long time ago and had to use other... Oh, came out nice. Other parts to do the sentiments for because or other little bits because I ran out of those. And then I'm just going to put that on there like that. Friend. And you could put a little butterfly. I have lots of extra little butterflies punched out and things like that. We can put our little chocolate in that one. And rolling adhesive. Dimensionals. I don't know where they all went. Here. Just use a piece of foam. So that's about it. Let me zoom back out. That's about how easy it is to make those. And then I use these little flowers that I got from... This paper here, what was really nice about this paper here is this die. I went like this. I took this die here. I think it was that one. I put it over the paper and I cut through a couple pieces of this designer series paper at once. So I cut out 2 sheets total, and you're going to see how many of these I have. I have loads of these that I used on. I didn't use my scan cut at all. I used the die, the metal die, to get these and my stamped images cut out. And I just was able to go through 2 pieces of paper at once. So that was pretty neat that die matched that paper. That was the only one, by the way, that matched that paper. All right, so I've shown you 5 projects. Let's go faster now. Now that you know how to make this, I'm not going to show you how to make a card this time like I did in the rest of the series. But if you want to see how I made some different cards, just go back and check those out. So let's go through a pile of cards. I'm going to do 5 cards. I'll do 1, 2, 3. I have 10 of these. I have 15 cards total, just so you know. I'm going to show you 5 regular cards right now. I have 5 what's called Easel Cards, and then I'll show you 5 more regular cards. Regular meaning they just regular, like they have a regular fold, meaning you fold them either top or side or whatever. So here's how I made this card. I used a lot of times in this series the copper foil. Copper foil is something we sell at Stampin' Up, and we sell packs. That might be the rose gold foil, but you get the idea. This is copper foil. We sell it in 12 by 12 sheets, like this, and I cut it out a lot. And my husband had punched some butterflies out for me, over hundreds of these, and I used them a lot on my projects. This little piece here is from one of these dies. I don't need to mention that every time, but when you see these little fancy corners, that's from one of the dies. I use the fancy corners. This is the embellishment that came in our kit, and then I just did a lot of things with cardstock for this throughout. So the 3 colors of cardstock I used were Pretty Peacock, which is the card base, and I used some Crushed Kerry cardstock, which is the background layers and these little layers that are sticking out, and then I used the terracotta tile cardstock and some black. So 4 colors of cardstock. I use black sometimes. So now that I've told you the colors of cardstock, I hope I don't have to repeat that too many times throughout. Just so I always like my crafty friends to know which materials I used. The butterfly duet punch was used to punch out all the butterflies in the series. These little copper little thingies, you might not have seen me open those up because they're not in this kit. They are actually in another kit, And the other kit is number 7. It's the kit we still have to do. And it's called the 3 Cheers for You card kit. And so that has a copper as one of the themes. And I used a lot of the 3 Cheers for You card kit. Okay, so that's how I did that. Lots of layering going on, and that's the background. Okay, here's another one. I used a piece of that lattice, or I don't sure if you call it lattice. I used a piece of that. And later I had a happy accident with my glitter when I tried to emboss these. And I think that came out, that was like my favorite card with my happy accident. And these are just little pieces of Designer Series paper back there. I wanted this little, I'm always here for you to pop out more. So I put it up on dimensionals, but I also put some different colors of paper behind it to make it stick out more off of the busy background, because that background is very busy. And for this one, I did a tone on tone. There's a piece of Pretty Peacock layer back there, and it's on top of a Pretty Peacock background. So that's just kind of another little frame, another layer of dimension that there's some cardstock behind there. Okay, the next card is another piece of lattice, and I used a sticker machine to kind of get that sticky behind there, because I don't particularly like working with the fine tip glue pen. It drives me kind of bonkers. So I'm keeping it real. I did use a sticker machine. And then I had some extra residue of the stickers, and I melted that with my embossing tool. This here is from it's called a leaf punch. I'll just show you that punch. You've seen the butterfly punch already in different tutorials, so I didn't pull that one out for this. But I did want to show you the leaf punch in case I haven't used it yet. The leaf punch was really useful for getting extra terracotta tile, extra little copper, or extra Pretty Peacock little leaves, and even some other colors. I cut out extra little bits. And these are cut out with the dies, and these were just those little punch outs. So I really love this sort of lattice, these backgrounds. I just love how those can really make your card pop. There's no extra layers. This is just, I just glued that right onto the cardstock, and that's, you know, the Crush Carry cardstock. Okay, another card here. And for this one, I used a die cut. So I have a whole big pile of images that I die cut using these dies. So I have a whole big pile. I haven't even touched yet. And I didn't count that toward the time of making these projects because these were extras. But I already told you the time it took me. So these I cut out with these dies. But in retrospect, honestly, I would have used my scan and cut. I should have used my scan and cut. I mean, because it would have just been, I thought it was going to be faster using these. And, they came out really pretty. Oh, I love distinctive stamping, by the way. I love how these stamps are distinctive. I didn't do anything to this. This is just black ink. And look at the distinctive, like, the shadowing going on. So that's pretty cool. And then for this one, I used the blends. I used Old Olive blends and some So Saffron blends to color in those. So back there. And again, just more layering going on with the Pretty Peacock and Crush Carry. So that's another card. And I ran out of these little sequins at one point. So if I find more or I open up another kit, I'm going to be putting some more little bling bling on these. Maybe some rhinestones. I just ran out. Now this card here, this is card number 5. This card is, what's interesting about it is, in the last project that I showed you, it was called Seriously the Best Project Kit, there were these terracotta tile cards in there. So I had another kit I opened up, and I was like, well, that's one of the coordinating colors, and I just used a card right out of the card kit. So that's what you're seeing here, that little pattern behind there. It's just one of the cards out of the last card kit. So I like how that came out. So I really was trying to figure out how to make my sentiments stand out in a sea of busy paper. And so that's kind of, sometimes I broke it up with, cardstock, or sometimes I put something behind it. But even just a little stripe of Designer Series paper, or strip, I should say, even like this little extra panel and this little strip makes the sentiment pop out. If you were to just put the sentiment straight onto this background, it would be lost in a sea of patterns. Okay, so for me, I needed to personally make these patterns less busy, and that's why I was trying to make, or I wanted these to stick out, I should say. All right, so there are my cards so far. Now let's show you a couple more 3D projects. So these I've made in the series. I used the ribbon that came in this. These two are the ribbon, the Old Olive ribbon. I was going to use other colors of ribbon, but I didn't need to. And these hold a Ghirardelli chocolate. Okay, so, but these will also hold your peppermint patty. They will also hold the tea bag. So the same measurements are going to hold all these things. In fact, in the series we made these, and I talk about the measurements. I forget which video I made them in. It's all kind of blurring together at this point. But I do love what I'm doing. So this has been really, honestly, I would say the most challenging series I've ever created, and this particular one especially, to try to figure out what to do with this kind of paper. Because I'm not really a floral person, and to have such crazy busy floral patterns, I had to figure out how to break them up and how to make them stand out so that they would be cool. And you know what? My crafty friends that I'm sending these to are floral people. So I know that the people I send these to, because I don't keep my crafts, you know. You make it to bless others with, right? So I know that people I'm sending these to will like these patterns more than I like these kind of patterns. But I do love the color combination. All right, so that was a couple 3D. Let's talk some more not really 3D, but I'm going to show you some tags now. Now to make the tags, you know how I make tags, I hope, because we did this in the series, but it is always really good to have a tag, some kind of tag punch. And so in this case, the Delightful Tag Topper Punch. Okay, now this is the only time in the series I didn't make the actual treat holders made from this punch, because I have enough other treats and you're going to see them. But I used this Delightful Tag Topper Punch to make these tags or bookmarks. And this is the Butterfly Duet Punch again, copper foil. This is just a punch. These are those little dies from right here, these little dies. And then this is a stamped image that I colored in, again, Old Olive and So Saffron. And then this little punch here, I don't know the name of it, and I don't know where I even got it from. I'm not sure if it's part of a punch box, or it could be like that little watercolor punch box or Christmas punch box. It looks like one of the size punches that comes in a box, meaning with stamp set. But I don't remember what the name of this punch is. But what I did is I wanted this friend to fit on a smaller strip, so I cut down a smaller piece of crushed curry, and then I punched this out, and that's how I got this cute little borders. So anyway, mystery punch. Sometimes I don't have time to do a lot of research, but it's okay because you can't find that one anyway. But you could just do the same technique with whatever punches you have. Cut out a big long strip of paper. Okay, that's what you do, and then you just sort of punch along, and you get all your sentiments out. So that's what in other words, I stamp first and then cut. All right, so for this one, you got this little corner, and for this one, you have one of those little corners. This is a pretty peacock on a crushed curry background, and that's a crushed curry on a pretty peacock background. I love how I can use glue dots to put these little bees onto projects, and it makes this project kind of heavy and kind of stylish and nice, and I like the Old Olive ribbon and how that coordinates. So I just decorated straight onto the cardstock for that, straight onto the cardstock, using just those copper foil butterflies. And for this one, I did use a brown leaf because I just thought I just thought it looked good because I didn't want to use the pretty peacock. There was a little too much going on. I wanted one more color, so I used this. I think that's called Early Espresso. Only because my husband had punched out a lot of this for me, and I wanted to use them on my projects. This one here is a die cut. That's a stamped image. I think I said that. And this is a piece of that designer series paper. So these are just different ways to make tags. All right, so next I will show you some easel cards. We'll do some easel cards. Now, I have 5 easel cards. Whenever I have a lot of pattern paper, I thought this is a kind of card that you would make into an easel card. If you have a scan and cut, even if you don't have a scan and cut, you would probably benefit from, well, if you have a scan and cut, you're 100% definitely going to benefit from my card making with the scan and cut course. And if you don't have a scan and cut, you could still take the course and learn about making cards because I do a lot of manual card making in that course. This here is one of the, I took the same, and all my easel cards, you're going to, if you took that course, you're going to recognize that these easel cards I made are like the ones in the course. But I just varied where I put the different panels. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple easel cards and then I'll show you a few more in a little while. So to make an easel card, it's a very easy type of fold. You're still using sort of a regular card size, the A2, but the fold is that you have, there's a piece of pretty peacock and then the fold is like that. Okay, so that's how you make your easel card. And then I explain all that in great detail. Okay, so again, they fold flat when you mail them. That's what I love about easel cards, and then they stand up. But you need to give them something to stand up on. So I made 5, and they're all different, and you just different ways for them to stand up. Like here, this one is the butterfly sitting there. This is a little piece of that little lattice or whatever it's called. Here's a sentiment up on dimensionals. So that's how that's standing up. It's holding the card up. And I also like to put labels on my easel cards, telling someone that this is a Botanical Prints Product Medley, and I like to tell them that it's an easel card, so that they know to try to stand it up. And if I'm sending it to someone that might not be very crafty, I still like to explain it's an easel card, and then they might write me and say, what's an easel card? So again, I thought this pattern was very busy, so I broke it up with different little panels of cardstock here, crushed curry, and then some designer series paper. And then you can see how that part's sort of just hanging off the top. And anyway, that's how I did it. Very, very simple. And just extra little embellishments, extra layers of cardstock everywhere. This panel also helps keep the card standing up like that. I have other little gems I use sometimes to help them stand up. And these copper embellishments before I move on to my other kinds of cards and things. These little ones here are also from the 3 Cheers for You project kit. These, and these. Okay, so I do use other kits because I have a lot of extra kits, and I was able to stamp right on them, and it happened to use copper. I was like, bonus, it's using copper. Okay, so let me stand that up and put it over there because I still have to take my pictures. So you have no idea, but once I make a video, it takes as long to describe, if not longer, to describe the video, to write the description, and then take some pictures than it does to actually create the video. All right, so now we're going to show you, okay, before I show you more easel cards, I want to show you my Hershey Nugget treats because I like to kind of go back and forth between some 3D items and some, I'll just lean those up on there, 3D items and some, cards. So these are Hershey Nugget treats. You've seen me make these in the different parts of the series. I was just running low on nuggets, so I thought I'd try some with 4 instead of 5. And I like to vary the colors of designer series paper. The trays are made of terracotta tile and crushed curry. The measurements are all in the last video, I'm pretty sure. It might have been video 5, could have been video 4. But I did show how to make Hershey Nugget treats in this series. It was probably video 4, because we're on video 6 now. And then these are just the little bees I added to there and the little toppers. Okay, it's good when you give people Hershey Nuggets to let them know that there are nuts inside and that it contains almonds because maybe someone's allergic, and especially if you're selling them at craft fairs. And so I usually have little stickers that I put on the back that I haven't had a chance to put those on the back yet. All right, some more cards. I'm going to show you some more of the regular cards, and then I'll show you some more easel cards. So some more regular cards, meaning the standard size. So we have some crushed, this one's crushed curry and pretty peacock. And there's extra little gems from the other kits and extra little butterflies. I like to do things in 3 when I embellish, and when I didn't use 3, it's because I either ran out or was running low, or I had no place to put it. But I like to breaking up all of this busy floral patterns with some cardstock layers. Okay, so that's just what I did. What I'd done is I cut out a lot of these, in this is what I was talking about. I would tell you about my scan and cut. You don't need a scan and cut. You can use a paper trimmer to make all the card elements. But if you if you just look at this and go, wow, it's not wonky. These are straight rectangles. Yes, they're perfect rectangles with perfect 1/4 inch borders around them. It's because I used a machine. So yes, you can use a trimmer, but it's a lot more thinking and it's a lot harder to line things up and make them, precisely the right size you want them. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I did use the scan and cut. Again, breaking up, I wanted to make this sentiment stick up, so I put it on a little strip of cardstock and designer series paper. Thank you kindly. And then I'll be sending these to crafty friends, these different cards and things. Thank you kindly. A little copper everywhere. I love how the copper makes it stand out, and it's just really fun. And I like this paper, like the vintage. Even though I'm not into florals as much, I thought the vintage look was just amazing. I thought the way these papers coordinate and this sort of vintage look was just really, really neat. All right, so I will save my very favorite card till the end, but I do have one more of the regular kind of cards to show you before I show you some little boxes. Okay, so I used, again, those little punch-out embellishments, and there was my 3. The 3 would be the butterfly. I like to put 3 embellishments on things. All right, well, we have this, whenever we have, what I loved about, let me just kind of explain what I'm about to say. What I loved about this particular medley is that I was finally able to do other projects I couldn't do in the rest of the card kit series. In the rest of the card kit series, I only had card bases to work with. I didn't have designer series paper to work with that was 6 inches. So it gave me so many opportunities to do other things, like the diaper fold, like these. I wasn't able to make these in the rest of the series because you can't make these out of a card. You need at least 6 inches of paper. Well, the same thing for what I'm about to show you. You needed 6 inches. You needed 6 inches of designer series paper. So this medley was perfect for me. I was so excited. And I have this die. Oh boy, it fell all on the floor. Let's pick that up and kind of bring that up. I have my magnet, so much for my magnet holding it. It's called the Mini Curvy Keepsake die. And I just draw on these magnetic sheets, which I'll also link to if you're interested in storage solutions. I don't lose mine because they're on there. I did lose one on the floor. As I say, I don't lose mine, and there's one that's already gone, but it's on the floor somewhere. Anyway, the mini curvy keepsake is when you use a piece of 6-inch designer series paper. You put it on there, and you can cut through a couple pieces of designer series paper at once. And then this is what you get. Before I show you my boxes, I just want to show you how simple they are to assemble, because I'm not going to take mine apart again because they're already decorated. So you get this. This is what you get, and you can cut through 2 pieces of paper at once. And then you fold it. It's double-sided. It's just so cute. What I love about this compared to the older curvy keepsake box, which I never did get rid of, it retired, is that you don't have to do any gluing. It comes out in one piece. And it does hold, and I'd kind of bend that a little bit, the handles. And then I assemble it by I push down like that. And then I go, and then I stuff my treats in there. I grab my treats. It fits the miniatures, Hershey miniatures like this. Okay, fits a couple of them. I saved a Hershey Nugget here. It fits Hershey Nuggets. Okay, it fits my mini Tic Tacs. It fits, even I think those York peppermint patties might even fit in there. And money, of course, you can always put money in them. See? So you can put a few little treats in there. And you can close it like that. And then you can put the little ribbon and the tag on it. So I made 3 of those, and I'll show you those with the mini curvy keepsake box. It's not on sale, but we have this right now. This is available in our catalog, meaning this is a great like must-have item. If you're into die cutting, it's just a must-have piece of craft. You have to have this die. All right, let's put that down. I look for that other piece later, and I'm going to show you those. And here's where you can order things. When I say must-have, there's where you can order things on my store. Use a host code. You're going to be entered if you use a host code when you order, meaning if your order is less than $150, you use a host code. If not, then earn rewards. Like if it's more than $150 order, then don't use a host code and earn 10% rewards. If it's less than $150, use that. On this website, there's always a current host code. I don't know what it is right now, but there's a current host code. And use that, and you're entered into my drawings. And my prizes are not shabby. I give really good prizes to my customers. I spoil my team and my customers. All right, so anyway, these are my curvy keepsake boxes. For this one, you saw how I made the little punch. And here's they're just adorable. They're just adorable little treat boxes. Look how the little inside color kind of shows through. And look at the way it curves. That is one piece of paper. And this one has Tic Tacs in it. And what I did is I used the old olive ribbon, and I used the little bee on top. I put a little bee on there with some glue dots. And I stamped friend in black. Okay, for this one, I used that little piece again. This is just a piece of linen twine that I used to tie on this tag. And the tag, again, is from the Seriously the Best kit. Oh, no. 3 Cheers for You kit. And then there's that pretty flower. It's double-sided, so I just decide what side's going to be the front. Like that, that's the back, and this the front. I made that the front because of the pretty flowers. And again, just tied a little bee there. And then I ran out of the bees, so I used a little leaf there for that one. And this one has chocolate inside. Okay, and then, just used a little, oops, there's the leaf. I need to glue the leaf on to this one. Like that. I need to put it, not glue dot. And when you do that, it actually holds the ribbon on too. Okay, so that's the mini curvy keepsake project. When someone gets it, they have to take out the tag off, and then they push down, and they open it. You can also ship them flat to people if you just want to ship, like I might send the last customers who won prizes, maybe some with treats in them, maybe some like they're just like that. Just because it's fun, they get to see, it not only showcases the designer series paper, but then they get to like put their own treats in it and give them to someone else. Everyone needs some encouragement right now. All right, I have 3, just so you know where we're at, I have 4 more projects to show you. My favorite project is last. That was my happy accident with the glitter. And then I have 3 more projects that are easel cards. I really thought easel cards were a great way of showcasing this paper. So this easel card here, I used that lattice background, and I just covered it with some designer series paper, and there's a lot of extra adhesive, and I tried to do some embossing to it and melt the adhesive, and it only made it turn dark. So that's one thing I have to work on, is how to get, without using a fine tip glue pen, and I did use my adhesive sheets and my sticker machine. I got to figure out how to get that extra adhesive off. I do have an adhesive eraser, but it was starting to rip the lattice, and I had to cover it up a couple times, meaning like anytime I ripped it, I had to kind of cover it with designer series paper to cover up my rips. Now this one is a little one of the little bees, and I still put 3 little butterflies and lots of little gems. Okay, so that is one of the easel cards, and here's another easel card. And this one has, again, those easel cards, flat, you know, sit flat, stand up. And for this one, it was when I was practicing with my die cutting machine, and the dies, the copper foil wasn't cutting all the way through. It's good to use wax paper in between your metal and your bottom cutting plate, but it wasn't cutting all the way through, and I ended up making it into a sticker like that, and I kind of like how that came out. So you can make, if you don't cut all the way through, or if you make them into stickers, then it's a really neat border that you can make with that die here that just fell. I need to put that on some magnetic material just to store that. I love figuring out the best ways to store things, and I'm always looking for other ideas, but I'm not changing my system now because I have like 20 of those art bins for all my dies and my ink spots, not just my dies. The ones I'm using back there are from art bin, and I'm going to link to those. All right, so again, layers of cardstock to showcase that designer series paper and to separate those busy patterns, and some sentiments, and that's how it stands up. Using the little butterfly on dimensionals and using that's how it stands up. And my other easel card. Again, this one is stamped image, so for this, I'm just going to lay that down so you can see it better. Because of the glare, sometimes my copper goes crazy. These little, I'm not sure why it was doing that, but I think it was because I think I was cutting into a little bit too deep. But you see how these little dots inside of a die, when you go through a die cutting machine, are to use like your little pin or pokey tool to get the die out. But somehow they made little dots in my leaves because it went down, the pressure was kind of high. But I'll have to work on that. So I have little dots at the end of all my little leaves that I die cut. But these are punched out, the butterflies. There's another little bee with glue dots. I really like how these flowers came out with using the die. And again, this one is one I colored with Old Olive and So Saffron. I didn't need to blend it because distinctive stamps made by Stampin' Up already have shading in them. So I didn't need to use I just needed to use my light Old Olive, and I think it was my light or dark So Saffron, I can't remember. But that's all I used is 2 colors. I didn't need to blend light to dark. Okay, and there we go. Now, my favorite card was an accident. So after I used my sticker machine, here's my favorite card because of all the glitter. I used my sticker machine to put the sticker behind these lattice things, and then it came out with all kinds of adhesive stuck behind it. So then I thought, oh, I'm going to pour glitter on it, and I'm going to emboss it. So I poured glitter on, and then I couldn't get the glitter off, and I wasn't really even able to I did heat emboss to set the glitter a bit, but you see how more glitter got here and here and here? And I thought, oh, wow, that was fun. And I say glitter, I'm meaning not actual glitter. I don't ever really work with loose glitter unless I'm in a craft club. But this was like embossing powder glitter. It was silver embossing powder. And I love the way it glitters. I don't know if you could see that, but it was fun. Even after melting it, heating it, it just didn't, see? Like the glitter doesn't come out. Like it's not coming off. So it's really cool because it's sparkly. This is like the sparkly card. And it's just not coming off. So it's all heated. It's heated into the lattice. So that ended up being my favorite. I always have a favorite project. I'm giving it away right away. But I always still have a favorite that my personal preference. So I hope you enjoyed these projects, and I hope you're going to go out and get this before it's all gone, because it's $42 instead of $70, the Botanical Prints Product Medley right now. And soon we're going to be coming out with all kinds of new products in our new catalog, and there's going to be other things that you're going to love, and other medleys and other kits. But for now, this is what we have, and this is available now. So thank you for watching. This is the Papered Chef.